All right, hey now, it's the Rob from 1061.
Rob, wait.
What?
This is post to post. We got to do something big, something out there.
What were you thinking?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Town Square Media and 1061 KISS FM proudly bring to you your podcast champions of the world. He's the R to the O to the B. I'm STEVE. We are your hosts with the most, bringing you everything wrestling related from post to post.
Now it's the Rob from 1061 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Hey guys, it's me Steve, web contributor to 1061 evansville.youtube.
Here with our Monday Night Raw review from last night. What was last night? The 27th of June was the episode. Episode 1205, according to Michael Cole at the beginning of the show. Yeah. But you know what? Is that not amazing?
That is amazing.
I mean, 1205 episodes of Raw. And last night may have been among the duller ones, if you ask me. I wrote down a few things to talk about, but not a whole lot from last night's show to really talk about, but we'll get into it. I feel like we should start where the show started, especially because we haven't heard from you since the Roman Reigns suspension happened.
Okay. I'm
curious as to, before we get into the meat of Raw, what you feel about this. And I'm especially interested in you because I know you've been waving his flag since this show started. He's been the most discussed wrestler on this show. He's been the most polarizing figure, whether it be in the comments or on just between you and I having banter. What do you think about his suspension? It's one of the biggest news stories to hit the pike.
Surprised, disappointed. I mean, it runs the gambit of emotions, I guess. Probably couldn't have come at a worse time for him, and also maybe couldn't have come at the best time, or it could maybe the best time for him. I said that they were going to try and repackage him. This flaw gives them that great opportunity. They have to take advantage of it.
There were inherent positives that came out of this bad situation. I want to say a few things. I've sat and thought about it. So I feel that because there's, in my opinion, I'm now of the mentality, now that the dust has settled on the story, I'm now of the mentality that WWE was aware of this before the pay-per-view started.
I believe so too.
That's the way I feel. I can't prove it, but that's the way I feel. And so I feel like it may have been in bad taste to have Roman wrestle at the pay-per-view. May have been. Not saying it was the wrong thing to do. You're kind of punishing the fans at that point who have kind of been invested in that main event match. Taking the title off him was definitely the right thing to do. Although I will say the wrong thing to do was have him at the show on Monday and have him in the main event of the next pay-per-view. In my opinion, if you want to really reprimand him and punish him, you have him drop the belt on Sunday. You can pay him for that night's work, but then you immediately start that suspension, in my opinion.
I would definitely agree with that. Again, we don't know what the substance was.
That's true.
I mean, so that can, if it's some illegal narcotic, but he broke the wellness policy. If they knew Sunday, he should have wrestled Sunday, and I agree, he should have been off. If you're going to punish somebody, punish them.
Right.
Don't make it look like you're punishing them and then cookie coat it.
Yeah.
With here's this show, and when you come back, you get a title match.
And you're almost giving him a vacation because he's still going to be in the main event of the pay-per-view without doing any work for it.
Yes.
So I don't think that's sending a good message, in my opinion. So I'm assuming it was a PED of some sort. I'm going to really assume it was something along those lines. Again, that's an assumption. I haven't read anything further about what the actual substance was.
They probably won't let us know anyway.
But you're sending a message to the roster that we're doing this because we have to. We really don't want to punish you. You'll be back. You'll be in the top spot when you return. Don't worry, buddy.
Yeah, you won't lose any ground.
Yeah, and I think that's the wrong message to send personally.
I agree. It doesn't matter who the guy is. You have to punish him straight across the board.
Agreed. I agree completely. So the show started out with a segment involving Seth Rollins. He was the first guy out in the ring. And immediately one thing struck me as wrong. Do you know what I'm talking about from that promo? Before anyone else came out, when it was just Seth Rollins in there, something struck me as wrong. Okay, I'll tell you what it was.
Okay, because I know
something really bothered me. It's one of those little things that can really bother me. But Seth Rollins, when he said, let's talk about Roman Reigns. I'm not supposed to talk about Roman Reigns, but let's talk about Roman Reigns. Now, that's fine. I get that they're going to talk about it, and you give them the impression that we're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I get that renegade angle that they're giving him. If we're quote-unquote not supposed to talk about Roman Reigns, why is there a pre-made graphic with his tweet that they play on the Titantron and that's already ready to go? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's inconsistency. I think that's just silly. If you're going to be the renegade, don't have that graphic ready to go.
Yeah.
Or don't be the renegade and have the graphic ready to go, but you can't have both, in my opinion, was my big complaint about the opening segment.
Okay.
Outside of that, I took notes that it was nice to see there were, correct me if I'm wrong, True Blue jobbers against Enzo and Kaz last night.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm totally cool with enhancement talent.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, I was kind of in a conversation with my girlfriend when the match started, and before a sentence was done, that match was over. And I was like, hold on a second, I don't even know who they were fighting.
Yeah.
And then when I saw a replay, I was like, I don't recognize those faces. I think those are just true job guys, which they were. And I also want to praise, I kind of like what's going on with the social outcasts. I feel like while those guys are not full of talent, they're full of, they care about what they're doing. And
yeah, definitely.
I liked the HARD hard stuff. I liked the play on words with hard. Yeah. I liked talking about who was the hardest and how if you're going to put them in a feud with Enzo and Cass, while it might not be the best feud for Enzo and Cass, I like how they put that little bit into making themselves better.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever be tag team champions, but when they come out, you know they're enjoying what they're doing, and they do try.
Now, we'll remind everybody, we have a personal bet going. Steve insists that the Golden Truth will be tag team champions before the year is done.
Yes.
So I still think I'm going to win that bet.
Okay.
So I liked the HARD stuff. I don't even know why I still comment on this, but I do have some sort of feeling every time I see Bob Backlund on TV.
Yes.
I know people probably don't care about it. I think this is so foolish for so many reasons. The main reason, I continue to say it, I cannot believe Bob Backlund is still not there. Yeah. This makes no sense why this would be happening. Again, if you take that real life point, if the wrestling is real mentality, which I like to employ, why he'd be training his protege via satellite. And I feel like the content of the promo, and I don't remember what it was right now, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
What was I can't remember.
Last night's promo was kind of like a sum up of what Darren learned. So I'm hoping that is going to segue into something different. Like maybe he'll start in-ring wrestling. And whether the payoff will be there or not, I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
The videos will stop.
That's not even. I don't even want him in ring wrestling. He's not a guy that I'm particularly fond of.
Well, I'd rather see him losing to somebody than see him and Bob Backlund talking via satellite.
Okay, I would rather see him talk to Bob Backlund for 45 seconds than see him lose for 7 minutes. Personally, that's just my opinion. So, but maybe, but I'm not. I mean, just because I don't like him doesn't mean no one does. Yeah. That's the way I feel about that. I took a negative note about Natty Neidhart. I think that Natty is not a natural heel. This is not a shoe that fits her. And I just feel like she is awkward being the bad guy. Your thoughts?
She's just awkward, period.
See, I don't think she's bad at being a face. I don't think she's a bad wrestler.
Oh, she's not a bad wrestler, but whenever it comes to acting or interfacing with another diva, she just comes off as awkward and out of place to me.
I feel like it's much more noticeable as a heel, though, personally. So I don't have a problem with her as a face. I think as a heel, she has some work to do. Yeah. So we agree there, it sounds like?
Definitely.
What else did I write down? Okay, there was the highlight reel with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
So I'm personally excited that this is starting to, what it feels like, warm up. This feud is starting to go somewhere. I'm excited. I know you're not, and you may disagree, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm excited for where this is going. I think they're two talented wrestlers. You may disagree, we'll get there. But I think they're two guys very capable of great matches. I've seen some things, not as much as other people have, that make me excited for their feud. My biggest complaint about this feud, and I've kind of been back and forth on this, I've mentioned it before at least, my biggest problem with the feud is that they keep telling us they've had great feuds. but they're sidestepping having a great feud on the main roster. The feud is that in other places they've had great feuds, and I wish they would just have a great feud here first, and then we can kind of get into that part. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I disagree with 90% of that, though.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, they work together good. I mean, they have chemistry. They've known each other for 15 years. They're very capable of great matches. This, however, is getting boring to me, just them butting heads all the time. And I don't think I'm alone, because if you go back and watch that segment, when Kevin Owens agrees to this match, there's almost no reaction from the crowd.
Okay.
I mean, you can physically hear, to the point I think Jericho even noticed, because he said, ooh, and almost tried to play hype man for this. So I'm not excited for it. I'm not a Sami Zayn mark. I like Kevin Owens. I like what he does. Sami Zayn, to me, is just a spot guy. He can do good matches, but, I mean, I'd take him or leave him for me.
I think Sami Zayn is great in the ring, and I feel like, okay, I either don't like his voice or I don't like his promos. But one or the other is true. Right now I'm going to leave it as I don't like his voice.
Okay.
I just feel like it's just, I don't know, like when you hear him go with Kevin Owens, like Kevin Owens has like this manlier presence.
Yeah.
This bearish presence as opposed to Sami Zayn. However, I do not write him off as a worker. Personally, between the ropes, I think Sami Zayn has great potential, personally. Okay. So I'm not out yet. In fact, I'm still technically excited, where I can see that you're not, which is fine. But my biggest complaint is that they're telling us and not showing us this feud.
Yes.
They're resting on this feud's former, wherever it was, even in NXT, which technically I know is a WWE brand. Even if that's where it was, we're not totally familiar with it.
Yeah.
Show us, don't tell us.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Agreed.
You can tell that AJ Styles is being taken very seriously as a heel in this company.
Yes.
And he is legit, and I'm so glad that, like, because remember when he came on, the conversation was, will WWE know what to do with him? Yeah. Will they take him seriously? We're past that conversation now, because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
They immediately learned his value and have put him into a good position.
Yes.
And so I'm glad we're not having that conversation anymore about will they drop the ball with AJ or not. They're not going to.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. And I was very, very happy with the New Day and how their promo to me felt very Attitude Era, and I mean that as a compliment. Okay. Remember when DX used to make fun of the Nation and stuff like that? It had pushed all the right buttons for me there. Yeah. Your thoughts?
I agree with all of that. My one thought in addition to that is I love Xavier Woods kind of being muted last night. It's like there's something getting to him, and it's going to progress the story.
It was that they singled him out, right?
Yeah.
They kind of singled him out.
Yeah, but if you just watch him through the whole promo, it's like he's not into it. Like, so something's in his head, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, they took me from unsure about this feud to very excited about this feud in the course of one promo. I give those guys, all 6 of them, the gold star last night. Yeah. They were probably my favorite part of the whole show. Anything that you want to cover that I didn't?
We had 2 returns last night that no one cared about.
Ron, help me out.
The Miz returned to action, and then also Demon Kane. And I don't know why.
Well, okay. I don't know that I disagree with the way you worded that. Well, Miz is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
So
he should have been there or forfeited his title.
I'm wondering if it's time for Kane to go. Or
I think it is.
At least as an in-ring guy, maybe it is time for Kane to go.
I mean, I love Kane, but I mean, like Jericho, there's only so many times you can come back and just kind of jump in and out.
It almost seems like Big Show's getting that ambassador role too. Like, we're seeing him, but we're not seeing him in the ring, and I'm not sure that's bothering me.
Oh yeah.
But my understanding is that these bigger guys who rest on being big are kind of being shown the door, so to speak, with the new era that they're preaching. Which, if those are the 2 guys, I don't really have a problem with that. They've never been guys that I love to see wrestle, Kane especially. Yeah. But I don't know if I'm ready to see them totally go yet. I have to sit and think about that one. But you're right. I will call them underwhelming returns, to say the least.
Yeah. And then one thing, the show in general was time filler. storyline
Exactly.
from where we started to where the show ended went nowhere. Yeah, we had the possibility of AJ and John Cena added, but if you watch that opening segment, you know exactly how the night plays out, and you're not missing anything.
Yeah, you're right. It was a filler show, and I actually feel like they're really just holding us over until the draft. Not even until the next pay-per-view, but they're trying to figure out how can we just give us episodes of Raw where nothing happens until the draft. And I don't even know, why are those podiums why are the podiums there? You've seen them, right?
Yeah, to remind us that the draft is coming.
Yeah.
They don't ever use them. But
No one's ever used them.
Yeah.
It's the second or third week that they've been there, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, last week Johnny Laurinaitis, used both of them trying to get his position in there, but yeah.
So those are our reviews of the show. There's some things we agree on, some things we disagree on.
As always.
But that's good. That's what the show's about.
Yeah.
And neither one of us, I think, represent every wrestling fan. So we kind of take different approaches to this. Let us know what your take on the show was last night. Leave us a comment. We always love interacting with you guys.
Yes.
And that's the review of the episode. If you've got it all taken care of there, Steve.
I think we do.
All right. For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner, Steve.
Rusev Machka!